And hello, team, and welcome back to part two of the short version by Professor Andy Molnar. So basically, I mentioned there's this hierarchy, right? So you're going to have most of you will have a PMO, Project Management Office, overall, right? Is in this umbrella type structure. And then portfolio management is the next highest level, then program management and project management. Keep in mind, a program manager, for example, is going to manage several projects that are related. That's really the key to program management. These are projects that are related to each other. So that's a key word right there. And why? Because if I make an edit to a requirement on one project that's related, that requirement may apply to the other. And if a program manager isn't managing them, it can get missed. Same with a risk. If I find a risk in one project, is that also a valid risk in a similar project? So these are related projects to gain the benefits. And of course, the portfolio management are looking at programs and projects from the big picture for the business strategic aspect, right? Things that are high value or big impact. And we do this as project managers um, through our project by managing chaos, right? And that chaos that we're managing, referencing the PMBOK Guide, Edition 7, is follows these principles. I want to make sure that I assess stakeholders, the team, needs, details, requirements, culture, etc. All of these apply. Planning, I need to drive the project work. I ensure on time delivery, collect measures or metrics to make sure that it's happening or to assess issues in advance. I need to clarify uncertainty, right? That's what projects do in this process of turning chaos back into the simple, or as I say, chaos into order. So, as a project manager, you are really thinking, and I left this one out, by the way, because I'm going to touch on this in a minute, but they're all critical. You are thinking in terms of performance based on these domains in the light blue boxes. This is what performance is about. This is what should keep you up at night. And you're applying these principles throughout your project as you do it. And as you drive your project through those domains, you need to make sure that you keep a strategic vision. Here's the graph that I like to use, but it's very similar to the one I'm going to show you in a minute. At the top level, you have business documents, and we're going to explain those in a minute. I just want you to see this chart. From there, I'll drive a project charter. From there, I'll drive a project plan, which is going to produce my deliverable. And what that does is I picture a funnel. And just as a funnel narrows things down, like if we're adding oil to the car, my deliverable is really here. So I'll take it out from my plan, right? As what I'm doing is I'm maintaining alignment. We talked about how important that is at the C-suite level, at the company leadership level to my project deliverable. I have maintained alignment because I narrowed down exactly what they wanted at a high level with my charter, further narrowed it down with my plan, and as I execute my plan through those domains we just looked at, bam, I have a deliverable that satisfies the company and stakeholders as well. And so, as a project manager, please always keep in mind this sense of strategic alignment along the way, right? Think about, what is the company's strategic plan? What is the company's need for my project? Because otherwise, I'm just a rogue person leading to a deliverable that may end up, it will cost the company money in terms of resources, time, etc. And I may undermine where they're trying to go. So your company should have a strategic plan. This is some high-level business document that explains the company's vision, the organization's mission, what's the organization's approach that you need to then further adopt into your project, right? To ensure this alignment. And that's why I like to think of a funnel. Here's a slide that shares it in a slightly different version, but it's really the same thing. At this level, vision, mission, strategy, right? Maybe in portfolio management, this is where I should be getting those business documents that I just mentioned. I should be getting those so that I can align them with my project. That's really the key here. Make sure you stay aligned. IGNED. This alignment means it's going to change the decisions you make, right? The vision, where the business wants to go. It's kind of aspirational, right? The mission, these are the pre-established corporate objectives and purpose, right? That you will make decisions based on. The objectives themselves are these defined areas that you're pursuing. The goals are milestones and involve milestones and resources. The strategy are the resources used to accomplish these goals. And of course, portfolio management is going to help you with that, as well as a program manager in addition to that. And so we want to make sure that there's alignment with our project. It's all I'm trying to get to here. Now, what complicates this alignment just a little bit? Well, the alignment can be complicated by a couple things. One is called an EEF, or Enterprise Environmental Factors. The other are called OPAs, or Organizational Process Assets. These impact all projects, so be aware of them. An EEF, and I've got a diagram on the right that helps enhance the understanding. But an EEF are things, here's the key. These are things, remember, enterprise environmental factors. The enterprise is anything outside of my project. Could be my company, could be the world at large, politics, resources, global conflict, whatever. EEFs are things that can impact my project, but I have little to no control over. We still want to be aware of them to try and anticipate them or manipulate them to the extent possible. But largely EEFs, things that impact my project, but outside of my control, largely. And OPA is a little different, and I emphasize assets. It's within the company, there are two types: processes, policies, and procedures. All of our companies have them. You can get them modified if you need to make your project work. The other is called corporate knowledge base. And corporate knowledge base comes in a couple of flavors: lessons learned, historical records, configuration management. Just make some notes there and think about that for a little bit. Chew on that. EEFs and OPAs. Now, OPAs, as a project manager, I can control. I can use to my advantage. I want to leverage them. EEFs, hard to control, but I'm still going to try and anticipate and manage it along the way. And this slide are just meant to be some examples. On the left, OPAs, remember, that falls into two forms: either processes, policies, or procedures. And here are some examples. Or the other type was corporate or organizational knowledge base. The key is knowledge base, right? So there are two types of OPAs. There's processes, policies, and procedures, and this corporate knowledge base. And here are some examples. Now, EEFs, I mentioned, can be internal or external, and these are some examples for each. You can see how they can impact your project, like marketplace conditions, but you can't really control those along the way. Now, the next stop is how your project benefits the company and provides value. Project managers do need to think strategically to ensure that your results are going to provide the expected outcomes, the benefits, the value to the organization. Use that word a lot when you're writing throughout this term, value. Train yourself as a project manager to think in terms of value that you're providing to the company. And these can be understood at the beginning of the project. They can be reassessed and updated throughout. For example, there can be business value, right? The goal of the project is to provide value to a business. And the value and the benefit of the business, it can be tangible, like your actual deliverable. It can be intangible. Maybe it's a concept that you've developed with your team that now maybe leads to a patent or supports other strategic work, right? So tangible or intangible. And you're going to understand the value through those business documents that I talked about earlier that tells you what the company is really seeking. So when we examine business value, know that we do that because projects exist to deliver this business value, right? Might be monetary, might be some improvement, might be a new training program, might be a new service, right? So critical thinking and analysis are used to determine what is of value to the business. So as you recall on a previous slide, I mentioned that at the C-suite, they're going to have business documents. And so business documents are what they should give you, the vision, mission, strategy, and that you're going to refine those in terms of building a project charter, 1 or 2 pages that kind of narrows down but stays with what the company wants. Then you're going to do a plan, which is the detail. And as a result of that, you produce a deliverable of some sort, right? This is the process. The company wants this, and this is the value that ties them together, right? Because you've ensured alignment from the top all the way down to the deliverable. Pretty exciting. So there are lots of types of business value. I'm not here to touch on all of them, but just note financial gain. Maybe it's a market share, new customers. Maybe it's a social benefit. You want to have an impact on the society you work in. Maybe you want to be the first to market with this concept, right? Like an iPhone or something. Maybe it's just improvement, or maybe it's compliance with standards or new regulations along the way. Lots of reasons for it. And so what you want to do is you want to start by asking the company for these business documents, right? Business documents are done by the C-suite at the very top, and they bring you to that alignment along the way. This is what you're trying to build. Business documents come in a couple of forms. I share them on this slide. You should have a business case, and you should also look for a benefits management plan. That's a great test question. Business documents. If I use that term, I mean the business case, which is define why the project is needed. That's really the goal of it. And then the benefits management plan is telling you what are the metrics, what are the things that you want to maximize, what are the benefits the company really needs out of this process along the way. And that's really a great tool for you to glean onto. So here we are. The benefits measurement methods can come in. So this, remember, part 2 of this was the benefits management plan. So in the benefits management plan, look for these 3 things. You want to look for cost benefit analysis. You want to look for some business benefits or some financial benefits. And all I want to say is these are self-explanatory, really, but you could write me and ask me further if you had any questions. But in this case, smaller is better. right? I want the payback period, the money the company gave me